Hey, party people, this is Q&A. I'm going to answer a bunch of the questions that I get in the comments constantly. And if you watch my channel update, iProblems video, I said that if you had a question for a future Q&A video, to drop them in the comments. So I'm going to answer those in this video too. Number one, most frequently asked question, what paper are you using? And I get that a lot with the marker stuff, okay? If I'm rendering with marker, there's a 99.9% chance that I am using this. It is the Bien Fang 100% rag translucent marker paper. And they have a couple of different covers, but it's the same thing, okay? Bien Fang marker paper. Now keep in mind, with this marker paper, the right side, the good side that you want to marker on is on the back. And I typically draw on the wrong side, the face, and then I marker on the reverse. Frequently asked question number two. So I'll do these demos, these tutorials where I'm using these figure templates underneath and drawing on top. And people ask me, where did you get those figures and where can I get them? Can you upload them for us? I made these. I do not have a single fashion figure template in my arsenal that I did not create myself. I'm going to be selling them very soon. I'm putting together a book. I'm compiling a whole book full of figures, the templates, male, female, adult, children, different bodies, 8 head, 9 head, 10 head, 11 head figures, everything from super thin to super lush and round, and different motions, walking, twirling, dancing, standing. So I'm compiling a book. I'm going to be selling it as a PDF download in my Etsy store, which is etsy.com/ZoeHong or zoehong.etsy.com, whatever. Just look up Zoe Hong in Etsy, and you can download the PDF and you can just select which pages you feel like printing out for your work, okay? And here's the deal. So my husband told me that if I finish the book by May 1st, that he'll take me to Buenos Aires. So that has been my deadline. But then I got the flu, and then I got food poisoning, and then I got an eye infection. So I'm still trying really hard to make my May 1st deadline, but yeah. Another question I get a lot is, Zoe, do you have a color theory book that you recommend? Yes, I have a whole video that I made recently on book recommendations, so go watch that. All right, now let's get to the specific questions left in the comment section of that video I mentioned. And I apologize in advance if I mispronounce anybody's name. Sony Shrestha says, is there a time when you were just a student and you had your designs, but you didn't know its sewing technique? Yes, and I still don't know the sewing techniques for everything. There are plenty of designs where I see them on the runway, I see them in a museum, I see them in a magazine, and I'm like, wow, how do you even begin to make that? And I love sitting there trying to parse it out. Like, I go to museums and, sometimes I'll be at an exhibit for 3 hours. You're like, what are you doing there for 3 hours? And a lot of the time I'm sitting in front of a dress trying to figure out how they made it. And I mentioned this before, I think in the Lucy B interview, where it's so bad when a fashion exhibit doesn't have glass covering the mannequins, because it's so tempting for me to want to get in there and open up a dress and see how they made it. And if the glass isn't there to stop me, I have to rely on my own impulse control. That's terrible. I love figuring all that out. I mean, yeah, there are tons of things where I understand the construction, pretty much right off the bat, but there's so many awesome things being made out there where I just want to study them all the time. So if you can't figure out how to construct something, it's fine, because no matter what, it's fine, because either it's the way to construct the thing that you want to construct, okay? The method has already been developed. You just need to go find out what that method is, do the research, find it out, practice it. Or you came up with something so unique that no one has come up with the construction yet, and you have to figure it out. It's a win-win. I mean, maybe not a win-win, but it's like a not lose/win situation. When I went to Albuquerque to interview Kathleen, I asked her, hey, what is your favorite thing to do? And she's been a pattern maker for over 30 years, I believe. And she told me that her favorite thing is to really parse out and figure out a difficult pattern. So yeah, you can be working in the industry for 30 years as a pattern maker, a well-respected, highly regarded, sought-after pattern maker, and still find challenges in the work. And I find that awesome. She gets a deep sense of satisfaction when she sees something and she's like, whoa, I don't know how I'm going to put that together. And then she does put it together and it works. Don't freak out. Don't get down on yourself, and do the research and do the practice. A Twitter follower recently reminded me of an old classroom motto that I have neglected to push more on this channel. And that motto is, it's hard because it's hard, and not because there's anything wrong with you. I say that in my classes constantly because I believe it. Okay? Some of the things that we tackle are hard. And, everything is hard for somebody. No one else gets to dictate what's difficult for someone else. Everyone else comes from different skill sets and experiences. And so something that may be easy to you could be hard for someone else. Whatever. It's hard because it's hard, not because there's anything wrong with you. And you just need to buckle down and put in the work. Next question. XXX Silver Extreme XXX asks, has there ever been a time where you felt like quitting fashion and going into a different career? The answer is all the time and never. I remember I was an assistant designer at this design house once. This is back when I smoked, and both my bosses smoked, and we would stay super late, like till 10 at night at the office, and everyone else had gone for the day. And the three of us smokers, we weren't allowed to smoke in the building, but we would go in the very back, open the window super wide, and sit on one of the cutting tables and smoke out the window and just bitch about our day. And then we would just complain while we smoked, and then we would go back to designing, and we would sit on top of the cutting table and have a design meeting right there, and drink wine and chain smoke and have these intense design meetings. And it was the best. And, every day there would be things that would annoy us, but at the end of the day, we freaking loved what we were doing. It's okay to complain, okay? I love to just, I'll grab a friend and be like, look, I need to rant and complain at you for about 10 minutes, and then I'm going to shut up forever about it. Okay. I don't need you to fix my problem. I just need you to listen to me rant. So I'll just rant like crazy for 10 minutes, and then I'm like, all right, we're good. Let's go eat something. Okay? Yeah, so there are times, and I'm being jokey about it, but there are definite times where it has been a much more serious concern where I'm like, what is happening? Those things happen. If you watch my is pursuing a career in fashion worth it? You know that I've gone through some serious difficulties, but that's everyone, okay? So yeah, I felt like, I'll throw off those constant remarks, but there's never been a moment where I seriously considered going to grad school in a completely different field and divorcing myself from fashion. It's gone up to that line sometimes, but I've never really crossed it. It's totally okay to be mad at fashion sometimes. I get mad at fashion. It's okay, but yeah, no, never really got to that point where I've decided to, move away from it. Robin Bieber asks, I'm interested in bridal design and or formal wear. How does this differ from the regular fashion industry? Is it harder to break into? I don't know, because I've never worked in bridal. And I don't know if evening wear is its own separate industry. It's like a sector of women's wear. I don't think it's its own sector like bridal. I think either evening wear, you have evening wear in women's wear. Is Bachelor Mishka still in business? Like they were prominently evening wear and cocktail, but they showed with regular New York Fashion Week. But everyone just knew them for their red carpet stuff. I think Eli Saab is also in that category where no one really goes to him for day wear, but he shows on the regular show calendar with the regular kind of women's wear lineup. But bridal is different. Bridal is definitely its own industry. And because I've never worked in bridal, I don't want to mislead you by giving you random guesses at stuff. So I don't know if it's harder to break into. I will say, these are my opinions on the industry at large. It's harder to break into an industry that's over flooded. Okay? And so if you're going into bridal or women's wear or any market, it's important to identify a need that hasn't been met. And that is the way that you're going to stand out from everyone else. So, for example, bridal. Okay, you can get into bridal, but who are you as a bridal designer? Okay, you can't just say, everyone needs a wedding dress. It's like, no, like you need to get really specific. Like, what kind of bride do you want to dress? What is your price bracket? Where in the bridal scheme of things is there a gap, a need that isn't being fulfilled? And, have you gone shopping for a wedding dress? Have you understood the difficulties involved with shopping for a wedding dress? I don't actually know because I eloped. I didn't have a big fancy wedding. I didn't wear a wedding dress. So I don't know even that much about shopping for bridal. Here's what I think though. I personally think that the very fancy, expensive wedding gown market is flooded because it's easy to design when you don't have a budget. When you say, oh yeah, you can buy $300 yard fabric anytime you want. Yeah, it's pretty easy when you get to pick and choose whatever trims and fabrics that you want. But there are lots of women out there who, yeah, they'll spend more on a wedding dress than their average dress, but they're not going to spend 5, 7, 8 grand on a dress. They either won't or they can't. And so, I think that's why J. Crew saw that gap in the market where they want something elegant and beautiful and well made, but definitely not in the 5K range. Okay, so go seek out and do your market research on what kind of bride is not being addressed or where in the evening wear, like women out there, when they get dressed for a cocktail party, who is having a hard time finding a cocktail dress or an evening gown? Okay, and try to fit those needs. I think that would be the best way to break into the industry. With evening wear, you have two schools of thought. Some people, they're like, it's an evening gown. You can go out and splurge and buy this completely amazing dress. Or there are a lot of people who think, look, I'm only going to wear this once. I am not spending that much money on a dress I'm only going to wear once. I just got to look cute one night and that's it. Go do the research. I hope that was helpful. I think that's it. So hit the like button if you found this video helpful and you want more Q&A videos in the future. And of course, drop me a question for the next Q&A video in the comment section of this video. Please share, subscribe. That's how you can help me if you feel like helping me. Okay. And yes, I'm still collecting donations for my translations and closed captioning project. So if you feel compelled to donate, please hit my channel main page and look for the little blue support button on the right hand side of the page. Don't forget, it's hard because it's hard and not because there's anything wrong with you. And I will see you in the next video.